Okay, welcome again, everybody. We're here to go take a look at use cases involving DocumentCloud to go ahead and use our new add-on capabilities. And so why are we doing this? And some of you, I was looking at some of the information that we received in advance. And so a lot of you have used DocumentCloud, but some of you have not. For those of you who have not, the best way to go ahead and put DocumentCloud, to go ahead and describe DocumentCloud is it's based on the idea that if journalists were more open with their sourcing of materials for their reporting, that the public would be more inclined to go ahead and trust that reporting. DocumentCloud is part of MuckRock, which also maintains a platform that allows you to go ahead and file public records requests, multiple requests, individual requests, without necessarily needing to know all the legal side of that process. DocumentCloud allows you to go ahead and upload documents onto the platform and then analyze, annotate, and make it easier to go ahead and to collaborate on reporting projects or any types of project that you're looking at. And it started in 2009. DocumentCloud did, and then DocumentCloud, I believe, joined sometime in 2018, the MuckRock family. And the idea behind add-ons is that a lot of folks let us know who do currently use the platform, that people were looking for ways to go ahead and sort through larger releases. They were also trying to go ahead and figure out how to turn those documents into analyzable data. So how do you go ahead and extract information that you need from those documents and make it easier to go ahead and do that without having to upload a document to DocumentCloud, have it still live somewhere else, and then bring it back to the platform later on. And another big one was about monitoring agencies and figuring out how we could bring those documents into the platform in an easier, faster way. And so that's what add-ons are created and designed to help do. They're able to go ahead and help with those issues and for issues that haven't been identified as of yet. And that's probably a good place to stop, because this way it gives Sonia a place to start in terms of talking about these use cases. I believe you do have the ability to go ahead and share a screen when needed. I will turn it over to you. And by the way, if you do have any questions at any point in time, you can go ahead and put those questions into the chat, and we'll go ahead and do our best to answer them. Thanks. And with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Andre. I'm going to turn on share screen real quick. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Always looking for someone to respond verbally because I'm not looking at the gallery menu right now. I'm going to pause my video because I'm going to be distracted. All right. So some use cases for DocumentCloud add-ons. First, for people who aren't familiar, DocumentCloud is a platform where organizations and freelance journalists can sign up. If you sign up for a free DocumentCloud account, you can search for free, but you can't upload before being verified. So you have to go through a verification process to actually upload documents to DocumentCloud. But you can search all available documents that are publicly available, something like almost 5 million public documents. And there's a lot of search capabilities that you have. It's a really awesome platform. I would recommend signing up and then playing around with it a little bit. And if you want to go through the verification process to be able to upload, you can also run add-ons, which I'll demonstrate in a little bit. Today, I kind of wanted to focus on 3 case studies of these add-ons that we've been talking about a little bit. I kind of want to go through like a kind of a storytelling process through like 3 different reporting projects that I've kind of worked on recently, and how DocumentCloud add-ons have assisted in that. So the first one I want to talk about is the Northwest Coalition Against Hate and Racism is a collective out of the northwest side of Chicago, kind of investigating police departments, far-right groups, stuff like that, and trying to gain insight into how surveillance technologies are impacting everyday people, protesters, so on and so forth. Andre mentioned Muckrock a little bit ago. Muckrock is a platform where you can actually sign up for an account, and it's linked to your DocumentCloud account, where you can file Freedom of Information Act requests or public records requests with different agencies. And it gives you the easy to use platform to go ahead and file a FOIA request with a particular agency and not have to worry about, oh, what statute do I have to mention in the FOIA request? Am I able to actually find the email address for the FOIA request to send to? Do I have to give up like my private information to send a FOIA request? Like, do I have to give them my email address? Stuff like that. It's all contained in this portal. And it also does automated follow-ups. You can embargo requests so that they're private. It's pretty cool. So anyways, the Northwest Side Coalition was investigating something called Flock, which is a license plate reader technology that's kind of being sold to HOAs, private companies, schools, sometimes police departments, and they're trying to investigate how the Niles, Illinois region is utilizing this technology. So they went ahead and filed a FOIA request on Muckrock. It was really broad. Surprisingly, they got a lot of information from it, something like 3,000 emails. It came in uploaded to Muckrock, and it was some zip files. I can show you an example of what one of those looks like right here. Extracted, it was basically all just email files, which if you click on it, if you do have an email app available, you can go ahead and open those in something like Outlook or Thunderbird or something like that. But if you wanted to do some mass analysis and open up, you know, multiple emails at a time or search across emails, an email based platform is not the best way to go ahead and search through those. One way that I've gone around doing that is actually converting these email files to PDFs and then uploading those respective PDFs to DocumentCloud. So you would use something like this, which is an email to PDF converter on GitHub. I plan on implementing an add-on to kind of do this in an automated fashion for you, but I had to do that manually. And then I went ahead and got, you know, at the bottom here, you'll see the PDFs that are produced for each email. And you can also extract the attachments from the email files. Well, the issue is that the attachments that I got were all in these subfolders, right? And DocumentCloud, as is currently, I can go ahead and upload a folder, but you have multiple folders with subfolders in them, and it gets quite messy. So one way to go around this is I went ahead and uploaded these documents, these attachments for these emails to Google Drive. The benefit of that is when I uploaded them en masse to Google Drive will automatically detect if subfolders are empty. So it will wean out any folders that are just empty directories that don't need to be included in an upload into DocumentCloud. The other benefit of using something like Google Drive is I can go ahead and hit get link. I can get a public link to share. And what I can do from there is if I go into DocumentCloud and I go into the add-ons, if this is the first time that you've used add-ons, you won't actually see the full listing of add-ons that I have listed here. I've activated all these previously, but you would click on Browse All Add-ons. And there's a add-on that allows you to import documents from Google Drive, which is really beneficial. You can import documents from Dropbox, Google Drive, WeTransfer, MediaFire, Fire, and so on. Is there a fee for using add-ons? No. If you're thinking about the email conversion, that's an open source software. There is no fee for that as well. For verification for a DocumentCloud account, there is no fee for that as well. There are some premium features that are going to be available for DocumentCloud users in the future, which is a paid service. For Muckrock, it is paid per request. I don't know the exact details of that. I can look it up for you right after I finish this demo. No worries. So import documents, I already activated it, but this is how you could go ahead and browse a single add-on, activate it. And then when you're ready to run it, you can go ahead and click import documents. And you can provide a public URL. So I can provide a URL to my Google Drive account. I can go ahead and type in the project name that I would like to upload it to. In this case, I've already successfully imported the documents from that Google Drive folder. So let me see, where is it? Flock, right here. So this one includes both the emails that I uploaded directly to DocumentCloud from this folder and the attachments that I included from this as well. From there, I can go ahead and use other add-ons to perform other analysis. I can use the search query tools. What I did is I noticed that in one email attachment, there was a video file that couldn't be uploaded to DocumentCloud because it was a video file, and video files aren't currently natively supported. But what I was able to do is actually copy the link to that attachment from Google Drive, and I could use something like the transcribe audio add-on and actually get an audio transcript of the 30-minute video for me. And that tells you timestamps and content, and you're able to go ahead and query through that. And you can go ahead and actually go into the plain text and copy that if you'd like, or make annotations, or redact certain parts of the transcript. Yeah, so those, the import documents add-on, I really found to be a powerful and useful tool if you're already using Google Drive for collaboration tools, or if you already have primary source documents on Google Drive that you'd like to import into DocumentCloud to use our add-ons on. Or in my example, like if there's just a directory structure where there's like a lot of subfolders that make it quite messy or laborious to upload to DocumentCloud, you can upload it to Google Drive first and then go ahead and use that import documents tool to go ahead and import the attachments or whatever you need to upload. So that's the import documents add-on. Does anybody have any particular questions about that particular add-on before I move kind of to my next story or project? There's a lot of there's a lot of add-ons that I could add on to this. If I wanted to go ahead and back up all of these documents in a secondary location, like the archive.org, I can use the Internet Archive export tool, select all the documents, and then go ahead and upload them to archive.org automatically for me. Or if I wanted to export these documents locally, I could go ahead and hit the PDF exporter add-on. Yes, Allie, you had a question about the Whisper add-on. You can go ahead and unmute if you would like.
Yeah, you might have, I might have just missed this, but so you uploaded an audio file to DocumentCloud, is that, or you gave it a URL? Can you?
So I got it. So I had the document. Here, I'll show you 1 second. No, not this drive. Let's see. Let's say I had like an MP3 file, for example, this one. This is not the document that I already transcribed, but if I had it uploaded to Google Drive or something like that, or another platform like Dropbox, I could copy the public URL. I could go ahead and get into the add-on and hit transcribe audio. I could provide that public URL, and then it will provide a transcription of that audio file and upload it to DocumentCloud for you. So this was a training video, like it was something like 29 minutes, and I didn't have time to review that training video. Or if I had like multiple, hours long interviews and I didn't have time to use something like Otter, or I didn't have the funds, or it just takes a long time to do those, I can use the transcribe audio add-on, which is powered by OpenAI's Whisper tool, to go ahead and provide one for you. No, there is no cost for the transcription service. And it uses, yes, the newish OpenAI Whisper machine learning library. So there is no cost. Yep, no worries. Could you give it a YouTube URL, for example? If it's a download link, it can't be. I'm not sure about YouTube URLs. That would be something that I could ask Mitch in an after request and go ahead and send that to you. No problem. But yeah, does anybody else have any questions about the import documents add-on or the Whisper add-on in particular? Before I go ahead and move on to kind of like my next reporting story and kind of like how I've used add-ons to assist in my workflow. No other questions? Okay. The other project that I was working on recently that I used an add-on for is, so again, kind of my research is in a lot of surveillance technologies and helping other folks kind of understand surveillance technologies. So things that we were focused on. Thank you, Chris, for the YouTube DL mention. That's exactly what I was going to recommend too. The automatic license plate readers are kind of surveillance technology that automatically detects, license plates as you pass by or drive by. I was investigating their usage across Illinois, and I noticed that they have these kind of standardized reports from these agencies, kind of telling you who they share information with, who they get that information from. And at the very bottom, it tells you like how many license plates were scanned in the last time since the time frame that's listed in time frame. So this is all. And as well, it tells you how many hits were made on license plates. Hits are like, if a license plate is added to the database and says that it's like a stolen car or it was reported in a robbery or something like that, it would perform it would check that license plate against something called a hot list. And if it matched, it would be a hit. So I was interested in seeing, okay, I have all of these agencies, something like 40 of them. I want to go ahead and get the hit information from each document, but I don't want to go ahead and go in here and like manually type in like 451 and then go back and go to another document and get like 452 or something like that. So what I went ahead and did is that DocumentCloud has an add-on called Regex Extractor. What this allows you to do is provide a regular expression, which is a pattern that you can generate. There's websites like Regex Generator, which allows you to provide like an example. So in this case, I knew that inside the document at the very bottom, if I scroll all the way down again, there's hits followed by some sort of space followed by a number. And in this case, I modeled that and said hits, space, number, and it will actually provide me the regular expression that I can use to go ahead and extract that from that particular file. But even more importantly is I don't have to do it just for one file. I can do it across multiple. So in this case, thank you for linking that as well, Greg. I can do that across multiple files. So if I wanted to do it against, now some of these are not standard, so they're not the same format. So I'm gonna avoid those because it's not gonna give me matching results. But a lot of them are, they're all from the same company, Vigilant. So if I went ahead and clicked on the Regex Extractor add-on, I can provide it the regular expression that I'm looking for, dispatch it, and it will run for a little while. First, it'll be queued up, and then it will go into progress, and then it will finish, and you'll see a download link. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. In the meantime, if anybody has any quick questions I can answer, feel free to jot them down, and I'll try to reply while this, there we go. So it went ahead, it goes ahead and tells me what URL it has a match in for that regular expression and what numerical value was able to be pulled from that. So in this case, I know for Winnebago County, there was 451 hits. For Villa Park PD, there's 591. For South Holland, there's 4, so on and so forth. So you can see the power of using something like regular expressions to be able to pull information en masse from a set of documents to go ahead and do further data analysis with. From there, I could put it into an Excel sheet and use Excel to go ahead and make a graph, or I could use something like a Pandas data frame and use Python to go ahead, or R to go ahead and program data visualization. So it has a very powerful document extraction capabilities because DocumentCloud, built into DocumentCloud, there's every time you upload a document, it automatically runs something called OCR, which is character recognition, which tries to pull the underlying text from a PDF document. And I showed that to you a little bit when I ran the PDF. Now, it's not perfect. It does make mistakes, but it's, pretty decent. It catches a lot of the text information, and you'll see like down here, it'll say hits and detections and so forth. But yeah, I've used Regex to kind of pull information from court documents. If I'm looking for like the particular court filing number or docket number, like CH11V12C, just like an example, I can do that in mass across like 100 or 1,000 documents, and what it allows me to do is pull the docket numbers from individual PDF files, so I don't have to go in there and manually type them. Additionally to the Regex Extractor, there is something called the multiple Regex Extractor. So you don't have to provide just one. If you wanted to provide multiple regular expressions for it to run against, you can use the multiple Regex Extractor and provide multiple different ones. So if I wanted to do like hits and detections, I could go ahead and provide a regular expression for hits and then add a new one for detections, and it will run against those sets of documents, each of those regular expressions. So yeah, building on top of regular expressions, shortly there will be an add-on that allows you to detect for personally identifying information. So if you wanted to run across a set of documents and see, are there any emails in here, any phone numbers, social security numbers, credit card numbers, so on and so forth, there will be a personally identifying information. And we will be running that detector on documents that are being uploaded to DocumentCloud. We're basically going to be scanning for like social security numbers and just update, like alerting our users like, hey, there's a document in public that has that. For the multi-regex, are the results then presented as separate columns in the download CSV? I believe it is, yes. So there's one for the first regular expression and then one for the second one. I can run it if you'd like, or I can move on to the next one. No worries. All right. Yeah, so it does separate it based on the type of regular expression that you're sending. So it'll tell you like this one was for this one was for the other regular expression. That's great and all. Regular expressions are awesome, but what if you've got something like this? I have a PDF document and it has like this table information. Like, what a pain in the ass. Like, look, I've had like documents like this that are like 30 pages long and they have embedded, payment information. They have like finance information. And it's clear that at some point these were the originating files these came from or were machine generated from were like spreadsheets, right? I wish I had access to the spreadsheets, but one thing better is if I could extract that information in an automated way. Luckily, DocumentCloud does have an add-on called Tabula. Tabula uses what's called the Tabula library, which is an open source Python library, as well as a desktop app. Let me go ahead and link you to that as well. This is the app, so you can download Tabula locally and run it. And that's part of one of the things that you need to do if you wanted to run the Tabula add-on with a template. But you can go ahead and run the Tabula add-on without providing a template, and it will try its best guess at pulling data from that file. So I'll go ahead and run it without a template, and then I'll provide a template and show you what that looks like. So it can go ahead and run through a query result, or it can run it against particularly selected documents. So I'm going to go ahead and just run it against this one document. But of course, this add-on can be run against multiple documents. It doesn't have to just be run against one. I'm going to go ahead and let that run and do its thing. Now, if you do use the Tabula desktop app, you can download it. And what it allows you to do is actually click and drag across that document. and select individual tables that you would like to pull information from. So like, for example, I'm not really interested in this field. That's just a signature field, but I am interested in these fields where it says what time is date designated and date terminated for each of these projects. And, down here, the financial information. Of course, I'm interested in that. For a little background, what I'm doing here is this is studying what are known as TIFs, which are basically a way of, it's like incremental funding on, oh, I got a failure. That's okay. I'll run that again. But it's basically, if in the city of Chicago, there's a way, it's called tax increment financing districts, where any excess or growth from property taxes from year to year can be funneled into a particular fund to be used by projects. In this case, I was working with a project from an organization called Civic Lab, which what they had been doing in the past was they went through these TIF district annual reports, and they clicked on each individual year and downloaded these all manually. Okay, that's obviously not very efficient. What we could do is, like, I could copy this URL, for example, and since these are all embedded PDFs and downloadable, I could use something like the scraper add-on, which allows you to provide a URL to scrape information from, provide a project on DocumentCloud that you would like to post those documents to. If you only want to filter for particular documents that you want to scrape on, you could provide those keywords here. It can notify you by email when new documents are posted. So if you have a website that you're constantly monitoring, but you don't want to, check every day if there's new documents, you could run the scraper add-on and it will email you when new documents are found and uploaded to DocumentCloud. If you had a Slack channel that you wanted to alert you when there's new documents uploaded to DocumentCloud or that are based on that scrape, you could go ahead and run a Slack webhook. And then, of course, you can set a schedule on how often you want the scraper add-on to run. So I could go ahead and run it hourly, daily, weekly, so on and so forth. What that allows Civic Lab to do is to avoid the laborious task of going through each of these years manually, and then go ahead and manually downloading each, each TIF districts. There's like over 70 of them, each TIF district's PDF. Additionally, when talking about the Tabula add-on, which I'll run it against a template in a second, what it allows you to do is, what they were doing previously is they were manually either copying or pasting, or if it's not even copy pastable, writing these into a spreadsheet manually for each individual year. This, of course, 70 times, 15 to 20 years, this is clearly, and 30 pages each, it clearly doesn't scale. It's not a scalable project when considering that they wanted to expand this outside of the city of Chicago and expanding it to Illinois and other states that have TIF districts. So one of the solutions that we came up with was going ahead and using a built-in Tabula Spreadsheet Extraction, which allows you to use a template. Let me answer a question, and then I'll go ahead and run it with the template real quick. Ali posted, if I have, say, a PDF that already has OCR, does DocumentCloud rerun OCR and supersede that? Is there any way to force a rerun or change that in some way? If there's embedded text from OCR, it won't go ahead and rerun it. So if you run it on like Amazon's Textract or PDF Miner or a different type of OCR system, it will keep that. If there's a lot of OCR mistakes, or it hasn't ever had OCR run against the document, you can manually set a document to have OCR run when you upload. I'll show you an example of that in just 1 second. Let's say I want to run this document. You can go ahead and force OCR, which it will override the underlying OCR that's built into the document. And this is a premium feature, but if you wanted to run it against Amazon's Textract, you can go ahead and select Amazon's Textract, or you can just use the open source Tesseract library to run OCR on. Additionally, if it's already uploaded and you did find a lot of errors and you wanted to rerun, you can select the document, go to edit and then force reprocess, and then you can hit force OCR there, and then it will rerun the OCR on the document as well. Did that answer your question, Allie?
Oh yeah, entirely. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and run this. Hopefully this works because it did right before the demo, but you know, live demos always have issues. Let me go ahead and hit get link. This is a Tabula template that I generated using the desktop app. And I can go ahead and run it against 2 documents, or I can go ahead and run it against more documents if I want to. Tabula spreadsheet. So what this is doing is it's going to pull in, it's going to provide that template to the Tabula Python library and run it against that set of documents to pull that information into a CSV file. Let me go ahead, in case this fails, I'm gonna go ahead and close the screen share for a second, find the resulting document that I got a little earlier, and then I'll return. It looks like it's not gonna fail because it hasn't failed yet, but in case it does, I wanted to show you the output document anyways. So give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. It's still in progress because it's running it against 2 documents, but for sake of time, I will show you an example of an extract. So as you can see, this is a T147 for the LaSalle Central from 2021. And you can see it pulled the information from the PDF. It pulled the name, it pulled the date designated and terminated. It'll scroll through and you'll see all the different pages. It pulls in like the X marks if there is one for a particular question. And more importantly for me and for Civic Labs TIFF Illumination project, it pulled in this financial information, which allows me to have like multiple CSVs that I can merge into like a master Excel file and then do analysis on, so that they don't have to go ahead and manually run against those documents and pull that information from them. Let me see if this is completed. Oh, no, it failed. Okay, well, that sucks. But I did want to show you what the resulting PDFs kind of look like from that PDF extraction. Sometimes failures happen. So DocumentCloud add-ons do run on something called GitHub Actions. So if there's an issue with GitHub Actions, or if there's an error, you can go ahead and click on the individual add-on, and it will, if you click on View Source here, you can go ahead and click on the GitHub page, and under Actions, it'll show you like each run of the add-on, and if there's a potential error, it'll tell you what the error was. So you can see that I ran it earlier today and it worked fine. Worked fine for a while and now failed again for some reason. But regardless, it allows you to go ahead and pull in data table information. And this is like what the resulting PDFs look like when you use something like the Tabula add-on. Did anyone have any questions about the import documents, Regex Extractor, Tabula, or even the scraper add-on that they'd like to ask about before I open for questions? Seeing none. Allie, did you want to share a little bit about your example documents using the sentiment analysis add-on?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and quit the screen share. And I think, Andre, could you share screen share capabilities with Allie by any chance?
You might already have them if you look at the
Oh, yeah.
bottom. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I have one example to share. I went to the last DocumentCloud add-on workshop event like a month ago, and then started using some of this for academic research. I have been looking into Chicago Public Schools partnership with Chicago Police Department and their school resource officers in the schools. Something that I was interested in looking at, let me share here. I had submitted some Freedom of Information Act requests to get the documents from CPS about a public meeting that happened in June of 2020. Part of the documents that I got back included public comments that were submitted in advance of the meeting. While this document only has 41 pages, I have over 1,000 public comments that I was interested in looking at and getting some general sense of what they were all saying. Without having to read them all one by one, I wanted to run sentiment analysis on those. So using the sentiment analysis add-on, we'll see if this one is successful too. I do have it saved from running it earlier. The reason that I was trying to figure out how to do this in DocumentCloud is that I'm getting a lot of documents back from my Freedom of Information Act requests and just general research that I'm doing for this academic work. And because of the volume of public comments that were received before this, I really just don't have time to read every single one of them. So I was hoping to use sentiment analysis to pull out just broad strokes. This might take a while. I'm going to just share the CSV that came up for me after running sentiment analysis earlier this morning.
I think there is something with GitHub Actions because it didn't initiate the run for my Tabula extraction. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's all right. Great timing, you know.
It worked earlier. So this is the CSV that resulted from running sentiment analysis on that 41-page document that I just shared. So it tells me what the document title is. It's all the same document because I only ran it on one document selected. And then there's sentence, the sentiment label of positive or negative, and then sentiment valence. So my technical knowledge is pretty limited, and I really truly do not know a lot about what's going on under the hood of this sentiment analysis tool. And I guess my questions are for you folks with more knowledge of these add-ons. I'm curious if there are ways that I can adjust the parameters, because there are certain things, you know, of course, that come up that I read and see like, oh, is this actually positive or is this, is this not? So like, yeah, GPA was low, negative, that makes sense. But there's a bunch of examples in this list that I just noticed, like, yeah, Mayor Lightfoot, you're right, to lead the city on a promise of dismantling structures that perpetuate racial violence in the city. I wouldn't consider that positive. The usefulness of this information for me at this stage is really just, again, to get broad strokes of like what is in this document. I would love to be able to adjust the parameters and maybe be able to do have a little bit more deeper control. But again, my technical knowledge is pretty limited. I don't know a lot about natural language processing or anything related to how this is actually functioning as far as like how it's coded. Beyond that, I've done a little bit with some other add-ons. I'm going to pause the one that I just ran. A couple of other add-ons that I've explored include the PDF exporter. That's been really helpful for me in just finding other documents already on DocumentCloud that have been useful for me. So I have some emails that were not uploaded by me, but that have been useful in my research and just finding new things to FOIA, basically. And on many documents, I've annotated and just written little notes to myself, usually things to follow up on or to research further. And what comes out of that has thus far been helpful. What the note extractor and the PDF extractor obviously exports PDFs. The note exporter gives me text files of all of the notes that I have written on the documents, so those annotations. Kind of like a add-on wish list thing that I have running here is yeah, sentiment analysis. Is there any way to adjust parameters? Note exporter. It would be so useful for me to have the capability to export notes from multiple documents into one CSV. That maybe also includes like what the note location in that document is. So like where I've highlighted text and added something, you know, having the document name, having even the URL and the date of the note would be great. Is that something
that particular functionality is going to be a premium feature of DocumentCloud released shortly, as well as the Textract OCR, which performs a little bit better than the open source Tesseract. The reason why for the premium features is because they do they're computationally heavy, so they are gonna it is going to cost some money for those particular things.
Well, I would love to get my institution to pay you for that. So very much looking forward to that being possible. I think, yeah, go ahead.
Michael mentioned that it is an existing add-on, the note export option, but you were mentioning it across multiple documents, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So it would be awesome if I could, you know, select all of my SRO documents. I don't have any notes on this right now, but I have a different DocumentCloud account where I have some other things that I need to just merge these. But I have notes on other documents. I would love to be able to download one CSV rather than separate text files for each. The other thing that I wanted to show that I've been playing around with, like, this is not an add-on question, maybe, I don't know, but just for curation and annotation of documents, to be able to connect documents meaningfully. For example, if I read a document somewhere on DocumentCloud, maybe somebody else did a Freedom of Information Act request, or like those emails that I showed in the CPS SRO research. I would love to be able to have a really nice way to link documents together in ways that, like, if another person opened up this same email, let's say I have FOIA'd for this complaint register, and then I've uploaded that, it would be really cool, I think, to be able to point to those other documents that I've collected that I found through first reading this one. And yeah,
I want to make a correction. It was not the notes export that is the premium feature. It's searching them live within DocumentCloud, like searching across notes, which is going to be the premium feature. The notes export, currently, it will be multiple CSVs, as you mentioned. It should be a relatively easy tweak to go ahead and change that, or configurable to be like a singular CSV file. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
As for the sentiment analysis add-on, I was taking a look at the GitHub page, and it looks like it runs it on Hugging Face, which is a machine learning platform. From the code that I can see, it has some model names. You might be able to change the model that it's running against.
Okay.
If you go into the add-on, since you're on change screen or share screen already.
Just hopping around to various apps. Okay. So back to that same document, all those public comments. Yeah. Okay. Going to the add-on, sentiment analysis.
Go ahead and hit view source.
Okay.
Go ahead and click on to main.py. If you scroll down, model name is listed right there. That's the model it's running the sentiment analysis against. I imagine that there are other models available, and we could probably extend on this add-on very easily by allowing you to select which Hugging Face model it wants to run against.
So would that be similar to like the OCR question I had, where you had Tesseract and Textract? Is that what?
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
exactly.
So be able to change which model it runs on. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because each model has its own different sensitivities on what it detects as positive and negative.
Very cool. So yeah, I mean, at the start of this this discussion, you all mentioned journalists often using DocumentCloud. I mean, as an academic, I'm not a journalist. I'm doing academic research, so I'm really trying to think of robust ways to use DocumentCloud and these add-ons in that academic research, especially my research is on schools generally. So thinking about public data being publicly accessible, add-ons here have been really helpful for me in just exploring massive amounts of data that I wouldn't otherwise have time to do. So much appreciation to you and this team for putting this all together.
Yeah, I think what we're doing is this was built to primarily serve journalists, but I think we're trying to see what other use cases may exist. In academia, I'm a historian by training, so I'm always looking for ways to go ahead and think about how do you sort through primary sources. And then even for other like nonprofit archivists, nonprofit organizations, anything like that. So any opportunity, yes, we love primary sources. And it's like National GIS Day, so it's really kind of way too nerdy for me right now. But those, those types of use cases are great to hear about and to kind of dig into some more. And so we might even reach out to you as you continue to do this stuff. And see where else we can highlight it, people know it's possible, and also to see where some opportunities may be to help support.
And from my end, I've engaged a lot with like activist groups, which are not primarily focused on journalism, but trying to find like actionable intelligence on, like the Northwest Coalition Against Hate and Racism. They're not a journalism group. They're like a grassroots collective, kind of trying to work on understanding what's happening in their suburb, their neighborhood, stuff like that. I see a hand from Daniel. Do you have a question?
Yeah, hi. So my question, and this is maybe very basic, but I couldn't find an answer online. So a lot of the URLs that you enter to these add-ons have to be public. Because of the nature of my job and the research that I do, I would prefer it not being public.
Definitely.
So what is the alternative other than, sorry, like me, like uploading these files one by one?
Yeah, so if you're talking about specifically like the import documents add-on, the issue is, the complication here is like the Google Drive API. If I wanted to provide an example for like uploading private documents, I would have to have some integration for like the authentication system to be able to integrate with Google. And additionally, they don't have an easy way through the API to download folders. So the trade-off we had here was to provide, since a lot of documents that are posted to DocumentCloud are already public information or will be public information, the trade-off is you can make the folder publicly accessible while you're doing the upload, and then go ahead and changing the permissions on Google to private when you're ready to do so. Additionally, when you do upload documents for the first time on DocumentCloud, they are set to private. So when you run the import documents add-on, even though the Google Drive, you have to turn on public sharing for a short period of time while you're uploading, the documents that you're uploading to DocumentCloud are still private. And then after you're finished running the import documents add-on, you can go ahead and change the Google Drive. Remember to change the Google Drive URL to private, basically turning off link sharing in that regard. This was kind of a trade-off I had to consider when designing that particular add-on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, and I really appreciate you explaining. So for reasons that are beyond my capacity, we use Dropbox, and we sometimes share Dropbox download links to journalists or collaborators. Would that share link be good? Because like it ostensibly like removes the protection for those specific items. So could I use that link to sync, like to upload my files onto DocumentCloud?
Yeah, so as long as it's a -s, let me show you, I can link you directly to what kind of links are supported. Give me 1 second. DocumentCloud.
While Sanyan's looking, does anybody have any other questions that they want to?
If the
Post.
file format follows one of these types, it will be accepted.
Right.
If it is a -SCL, it will not. And the Dropbox API actually doesn't support -SCLs either.
Okay.
But for the most part, it should be one of these links if you're sharing them with a share link to other journalists.
Okay, great. And last thing, where can I find pricing for DocumentCloud so I can show to my higher ups?
Andre or Michael, do you have the link on hand by any chance? Otherwise, I can't.
I shared the, let me go back and find.
That was for Muckrock, though.
That was from Muckrock, but it should be accessible on that same page.
Oh, my bad.
While I'm looking for that, does anybody else have any questions? Oh, and Michael already answered that question for me. Thanks. Thank you, Michael. Pricing is the same for both, and we're currently working out the update plan pages. So now you are.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier today, actually, Michael. Yeah, you and Mitch were talking about that. Yeah.
So that link I shared earlier, which but I will reshare that link here at the bottom of the chat before we wrap up. Recognizing that screenshot will also be. Cool. Does anybody have any other questions? Sweet. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Yeah, we look forward to talking to all of you. What we're going to do is we are going to later this afternoon or later today, I should say, depending on where your time zone is, we'll go ahead and send a follow-up email to you. And we'll try to get, like I said, the plan is not necessarily to share this entire video, but we will share the link in here for those who weren't in that email, for those who weren't able to attend. And we'll also make sure that you are aware of when that next session next month is going to be and how that will move forward. Otherwise, Sanya, is there anything I've forgotten?
No, I think that's it. For the question about the Dropbox links, I linked the library that import documents relies on. If people are interested, if there's anybody who's a developer who's interested in expanding on it or anything like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's it. We're right on time for 1 o'clock. So
right on time. Well, thank you all for joining us. And like I said, if you
Thank
have
you,
any other
everyone.
questions, feel free. It's one thing, even though we're going to log out pretty quickly. If you need to reach us, those are our email addresses. You can also find us on Twitter if you're there. A couple of us are on Mastodon, LinkedIn, and you want to look for us. You can go ahead and find us in any of those locations, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and chat with you and answer the question the best way possible. Other than that, but I'll make sure those emails are in that follow-up email as well later on today. All right. Thanks, y'all. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.